Hello, my name's James Hunter, and this is my 2 cents channel where I talk about topics from physical fitness, mental health, and wellness, and just topics I may want to discuss. And today I want to talk about, advertisements you get with, to individuals who are looking to lose weight, as far as different types of diet. Sometimes it's supplements and so on. And while some of these advertisements may use refer to literature and talk about concepts and things that have some points, the problem I have with it is many times it's the type of language that is used that preys upon people's, not the type of individuals who are looking for the magic trick, if you will, right? Or the magic pill, so to speak. They're individuals who necessarily are not ready to commit to making a sustainable and long-term lifestyle changes. And by sustainable, I mean things that are going to be practical, that you're going to do throughout your life, not just tricks or gimmicks or schemes, if you will. That's going to be the real answer to, if it's someone who's obese or overweight, they're going to, as a process over time, lose weight by making lifestyle changes, including how they eat, their relationship with food, becoming physically active, exercising, and so on and so on. So, a lot of this really is not as complicated as it has to be. While there is something to be said about things, our hormones, genetic factors, people can talk about that. How the metabolism works, different nutrition plans, and yeah, there's variables, but at the end of the day, as human beings, the process is going to be the same, while some people may be variable and how fast they're able to lose weight. At the end of the day, if you stick to a plan, you eventually get there, right? It's because small changes over time add up to big changes. So let's go ahead, and I want to talk about this email I got that kind of, I've seen others similar to it, and I'm not trying to knock any particular, product or supplement in this video. I just want to talk about language right now. So in my Yahoo, I got an email from info@fitmen.net, which is interesting because this advertisement really seems to be targeted towards women. So it says right here in the subject heading, 22 pounds gone. Now notice it's in all capital letters, right? Gone in 13 days with this strange, right? Meaning, hey, strange. It's an interesting word. Carb, pairing, and then the word trick, right? Very interesting words. And in my opinion, this kind of caters to, or praise, if you will, if you use words, it's targeting people that they don't really understand that losing weight or getting in shape and being fit and healthy is a process of changing behaviors, or a relationship with food, nutrition, exercise, and really it's a commitment, right? So when you hear words like trick, strange, right? That type of language doesn't lend itself to making commitments, in my opinion. And a commitment is really what it's about, in terms of changing behavior and getting results. You got to be committed to having a plan and working a plan. So I'm going to read it, and of course they personalize it to me. They say my name. James, if you are upset about your weight and you want to lose a little more, get this. An overweight mother with pre-diabetes has just shocked, all capital letters, the medical community by losing an unheard of 22 pounds in just 13 days. So right there, that's already a red flag for me. 13 pounds, it's 22 pounds in 13 days. It's a day less than 2 weeks. So think about it. That right there to me just screams of bullshit. If you're strictly just looking at a nutrition plan, regardless of how you can, pair your macros, whatever the calorie range is, you can get into all that. That just doesn't seem feasible or realistic from my experience working with individuals who have safely lost weight. And I'm going to talk more about people who lose too much weight too fast anyways, in terms of what the implications may be for that, and then, what that's going to mean for them in the future. So let's come a little bit more down this email because it keeps getting better. It builds itself up. So the next statement down here, notice it has the periods, and then it says, without starving herself, it's like a drum roll, she lost a total of 37 pounds in the first month, right? So I know individuals who've got gastric bypass surgery and they may drop a substantial amount of weight that first month, due to like medical interventions such as things like that. For people, if it's just a carb pairing trick, I mean, come on. So okay, 37 pounds now in the first month. So let's keep reading this because it does build up. We're gonna come down here. It says even without exercising. Imagine that shit. Now you don't even have to exercise. You're gonna lose 37 pounds in the first month. 22 pounds of that will be in the first 13 days, and you don't even have to get off your ass, right? Stay on the couch. This is really appealing to people that are lazy, and in my opinion, this really should insult the intelligence of most people, and it really doesn't show any respect, in my opinion, towards the importance of having a lifestyle that includes exercise, because any sincere, reputable marketer of any type of fitness solution would not include that statement, without exercising. To me, it speaks to, from my point of view, it speaks to the fact that they are selecting a targeted select group of people whom don't want to exercise, or maybe they're not ready to start exercising, and so they're marketing this towards people they may view as being lazy, if you will, if you want to look at it that way. But exercise is huge. I mean, weight loss alone, exercising is important for our quality of life. And this particular one is marketed towards women. You got issues like osteoporosis, osteopenia. So strength training, weight training, having that essential mechanical stress to the body to help keep the bones dense, to increase the likelihood of keeping them dense and strong as you age. So this, to me, is just irresponsible, disingenuous type of marketing, and really should, for people who are a bit more critical in their thinking, this should really kind of raise a red flag when you see marketing that's going to minimize or discount exercising. So even without exercising, she went on to burn off 84 pounds, almost a pound a day, and eliminated any sign of diabetes or any other life-ending diseases. So, there are situations with individuals out there who have pre-diabetes. I live in South Texas, in a county that I believe at one time was number one in the nation, not just for obesity, but for diabetes. A lot of diabetes type 2, adult onset, with individuals I've worked with. And what's going to help someone be successful with managing diabetes is a lifestyle change. A commitment to exercise is going to help a lot. In fact, this email advertisement here is telling people they don't have to exercise, which contradicts their purported attempt to look like they care about people with diabetes, right? Well, we know that one of the best things you can do for diabetes is exercise, especially that gets your heart rate up and your breathing. What that does is it produces an acute adaptation, meaning that it's immediate. When you start breathing hard and you disturb your metabolism and you exercise, your body becomes more sensitive to insulin, so insulin can do its job, right, and break down the blood glucose so your blood sugars don't build up, essentially. So exercise is very powerful for individuals with diabetes type 2, and this is something I've seen a lot of it as a personal trainer, how lives have been changed. So this right here speaks of bullshit. Don't send emails to people where you're using buzzwords like pre-diabetes, and then in the same breath you're also saying that they lost weight without exercising, because it is a multifaceted approach to managing and also controlling things like diabetes. I know individuals who, in some instances, they became totally symptom-free in terms of their blood sugars becoming under control. They didn't have to take medication anymore to manage it. They were able to do it by losing weight, exercising, and maintaining a diet, a particular way of eating for the long term of their life. So this right here, if you're critically thinking, pay attention, because they're counting on the fact that you're not going to think, right? This, to me, is a bit of a combination of fear mongering plus promising you the easy way out, right? So you can achieve your goals, you can lose weight and accomplish a lot of things, And yes, it does require commitment to, making lifestyle changes, but it's not too hard. It can be done. It's more about your mental outlook and your state of mind that's the most powerful factor in this. Once you are committed, you can accomplish anything. So let's go ahead and keep reading this a bit more. And the amazing thing, all she did was, remember the saying, it's just all she did, right? Again, they're trying to discount everything else that people uh, may be on the fence with wanting to do, which I think is irresponsible. So all she did was a DIY carb pairing trick, again, the word trick, that reconditions your three female weight loss hormones to drastically accelerate fat burning while still eating the foods you love. So there is something to be said about, our hormone balance in terms of how that can affect a number of things. Vitamin D, which is actually a hormone. Men have more testosterone, which is an advantage for preserving lean muscle mass as you lose weight. And there's other advantages in terms of men typically they may lose weight faster, because of advantage of hormones and we're going to build more muscle because of hormonal differences. Women who don't have the testosterone levels like men, while they will still, tone and strengthen and so on, if you want to use that word tone, they're quantitatively are not going to get the size that a man will get. They'll get stronger, firmer, but they're not going to get big like a guy. And so their situation and hormones, yes, it is different from men. You can talk about the thyroid, so on and so on. I've had clients that had their thyroid under managed with medication. They did fine. That being said, even with hormone differences and that may create situations where some people may just get quicker results because of hormonal advantages. If you stick to a plan long enough over time, even if you are losing weight slower than other individuals, you're still losing and you can get there over time. So hormonal differences, my experience is, well, yeah, your diet can help promote a better situation. A lot of times individuals get medical help for these situations. If there's an issue with their hormones, they'll go see a doctor. If it's a thyroid issue, and so on. You got older men who may, where it's appropriate, do medically supervised TRT. I even know some women that are in their 50s, almost 60, who take a very conservative small amounts of hormone replacement therapy to help them have a more optimal situation. So there's a lot of things that can be said about hormones, but I think what individuals like these do, they throw out a lot of terms and conversations that within different contexts are relevant, but they try to sound credible in their advertisements by talking about such things. And I don't have a issue with bringing those topics up, but the issue is the language they use, and then all these promises, 37 pounds the first month. Okay, so there's a lot more that can be said about the hormone stuff, but the point is, yeah, we understand those who do research and kind of look at the bigger picture. There's variables that come into play with losing weight, but a lot of these people who market things to consumers, they will pull from that to try to gain some semblance of credibility because they're mentioning things that have a point, but then they turn around and make big promises. All right, so let's come over here. All right, so here's the website that it brings you up to. Okay, let's start at the top. I'm not going to play this whole video of the before afters. Let me see, 22 pounds gone in 13 days with this strange, remember the language, carb pairing trick. So any advertisement that's using the word trick, that to me this is disingenuous. I'm not impressed and doesn't seem honest. All right, okay, let's keep scrolling. All right, so it talks about losing 22 pounds again. I'm going to highlight it in just 13 days. And then before you know it, we're all the way down here again with 37 pounds in just 20 days, parentheses, women only, right? Women only. Okay, so it seems to be targeted maybe perhaps women who don't have a lot of information, perhaps people with insecurities. I'm not saying that men can be insecure. I'm talking about people who may have anxiety, insecurity. So now I feel special because this is just for me only, right? It's not for men. All right. Her carb parent trick melted away 22 pounds in just 13 days. So again, you have a photo of before and after. This is a lot of what is referred to as the peripheral route to persuasion, which is just something that appears flashy, sometimes too good to be true. So it disengages you from any critical thinking. The central route to persuading somebody would just be honest, straightforward facts that give, you know, the ins and outs and just the honest facts about the whole situation, right? And they attempt to put some information to appear like they're taking the central route, like just based on facts only, rather than trying to be sensational like this ad is doing, in my opinion. So, all right, weight loss is hard enough, isn't it? No, it's not. Not if you are committed and stick to a plan and understand that it's a process and it's not going to happen in 2 weeks. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's assume you're committed. Okay, I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm just coming to some points I want to make. All right, carb parent trick again, and they keep reiterating this, right? They keep bringing it in there. Now, here's some of their tips, and a lot of this, if you read some of the situations, these people who promise you things, basically what a lot of them are doing are just types of keto, right? You're gonna the carbohydrates being tweaked, you're keeping that to a minimum, and it's protein and fats. Now they talk about people, they try to discount how calorie restriction and low calorie diets don't work. Continue eating the foods you want. That's just not going to work when you tell people that. What if they like to eat Chinese food every day? It's a permission statement for people who already are struggling with changing behavior. So if I'm someone who's trying to lose weight, I like eating Chinese food, I like my pizza, hell, I like having a pitcher of beer with my pizza, right? And I have all these great claims being made to me telling me I don't need to exercise and I can keep eating the foods I want. What do you think the chances are I'm going to be successful for the long term? And do you think I'm going to lose, what is it, 37 pounds in 20 days? I mean, come on, use your common sense. If it sounds too good to be true, so, all right. So tip number one, here's where they provide some information, make sure your first meal contains protein and fat. Well, you know what? Me personally, all of my meals are going to, depending on what I'm doing, may have protein and fat. Sometimes I may, kind of manipulate my macros where I might do mostly protein and carb the first half of the day, and then after 1 o'clock, I might do protein and fats for the remainder of the day. So there's strategies in how you can pair or how you match your macros or how you pair them together. Definitely for me, I'm having protein every meal. So, okay, so they bring some stuff. They talk about detoxing your liver. There's a whole, market of supplements out there just for that, detoxing liver, and so on and so on. I drink, raw organic apple cider vinegar. It's good for your kidneys. I've read some stuff that, they say it's good for your liver too, and so on. And you'll read some other stuff. What is it? Dandelion, I believe, or herbs and other things that are good for your liver and so on and so on. You get the idea. So you're going to find marketing just on things that are good for your liver alone, which I don't have any issue with any of those things. So see, they're bringing in stuff that's like, oh wow, they're talking about detoxing the liver. They're onto something. Okay, tip number 3: don't cut the fat except for this one kind. And they're going to go into this, and they mention things I believe about oils and stuff like that. Metabolic syndrome, diabetes, hypothyroidism, insulin resistance, heart disease, and obesity. So check this out. So here, they're mentioning some very, official sounding terminology: metabolic syndrome, diabetes, hypothyroidism, insulin resistance, heart disease, and obesity. All of those are very significant, things to know about. These are all valid things that exist. There's metabolic syndrome, diabetes, hypothyroidism, insulin resistance, heart disease, and obesity. I don't have an issue of any of this. In fact, insulin resistance exercise is going to help with that, right? But here they are telling you you don't need to exercise. So again, a contradiction. You're going to bring up something like insulin resistance, but you're also telling people they don't need to exercise. You know what? To me, that speaks of bullshit again. So as soon as you start exercising, again, I mentioned of the people who are trying to do something about either pre-diabetes or diabetes, if they already have it, type 2 or 1, the individuals I work with tend to be more type 2s in my area. So once they start developing their condition and they're doing things that's getting their heart rate up and they're breathing, um, they're becoming more sensitive to insulin when they do that. Exercise helps to promote that. So, all right, exercise is going to help heart disease. It's going to help the obesity. So all these things, good that they're being brought up, but these are things that are multifaceted again, and they're trying to sound. In my opinion, this is more about trying to sound more central route. Like, hey, look, we're laying down all these terms on you, so you should listen to us. The problem is that they lose credibility when they start talking about losing the amounts of weight they're mentioning in such short periods of time. And then also pandering to people who are looking for quick fixes. So, all right. Again, it's about lifestyle changes and maintaining over the long term of your life to achieve success and to maintain it. All right. So number 4, lower cortisol, estrogen and insulin levels. Insulin levels are important. You hear about the glycemic index. Insulin is anabolic. I mean, it stores. So all these things are relative in the conversation of body composition, losing weight. They're relative, but you know what? It's multifaceted again. Exercise, nutrition, a way of living life, and so on. Individuals who may have more complicated issues with estrogen, estrogen and testosterone, and other issues. Nutrition can help with those types of things. I take diindolylmethane 200 milligrams a day, which has been shown to help promote healthy hormone balance, estrogen metabolism, I believe, and basically helps to minimize the bad estrogen, if you will, and then the good ones that are like good for your heart. I think it's hydroxy 6 estrogens are the bad ones. I may be wrong. I have to go look that up again, but there's different types. So yeah, these are all relative things in the conversation. So they're bringing this up again, so it sounds all official. To make more, I guess, to lend credibility to all their claims about losing the amount of weight they're mentioning. So all this stuff, yeah, you know what? These are addressed more ways than one. Okay. Number 5, fix your gut and reduce inflammation. Inflammation is a precursor to many disease states, so that's something to be said. Changing your lifestyle, nutrition, all that, is going to help with that. All right. It's telling you to ignore the RDA and DRIs, nutrition facts, and the food pyramid. Now, I remember the old food pyramid. It didn't have a physical activity coefficient factored in there. If you look at the My Pyramid now, it factors in physical activity. And I do agree, the food pyramid, I used to joke, if you eat like the food pyramid, you're going to look like a pyramid. So and a lot of people said that back in the day. That's a long time ago, in the 90s, whatever. But so, there's more than one way to do things. But let's look at this. What about the recommended daily allowance for certain things? I know I take niacin, and I'll take 500 milligram capsules. Some people, they're like, oh, you got to take 1,000 and so on and so on. Certain things, if you take in too high amounts, they can be dangerous, right? So RDA and DRA isn't necessarily, something that's completely wrong or useless, like they're saying down here. Dietary reference intake, and then the RDA. So they're saying that they are useless. To me, this looks like a broad brush statement. I think that's irresponsible. I think there's flexibility in certain things, but to me, that's just, again, it's pandering to tell people basically, if people's way of doing things worked, they wouldn't be looking for guidance and help, right? So RDAs and DRIs, while there may be some flexibility, they're there for a reason, okay? All right. Let's scroll down here. Number 7, don't eliminate carbohydrates, pair them. Well, you know what? There's something to be said about having days with no carbohydrates. Keto, I think it's 30 you can have up to and stay in ketosis. But, don't eliminate. Again, this is using language that may be pandering to people like, oh, I don't want to have to give up, my French fries or whatever it is. It's really about the refined processed carbohydrates, cupcakes, pastries, things that are overly starchy like the white potato. I don't do much of that. I do sweet potato, which is less starchy. Whole foods, and it's the portion. I do carb cycling, meaning that I take in carbs based on my physical activity, my need. Now, for people that are really trying to lose weight, you may want to get some things under control, get some weight loss going, and then learn how to manage the carbohydrate. I think is a good long-term solution. So no, you don't have to permanently eliminate carbs forever, but there is something to be said about temporary interventions. And some days I don't eat carbs, and so on and so on. So anyways, I think y'all get the idea of my points on this. Um, I don't have a problem with some of the things that are said here. I really don't. It's just, to me, it's just the language that's used, the marketing, and in my opinion, they throw out information, make really big claims. 37 pounds in the first month, and they mention no exercising. I mean, come on. To me, that just loses credibility of me. So if you're someone, if you're female or you're male, maybe you don't know a lot about nutrition. You don't know a lot about how things like hormones, yeah, they can help. No doubt they can help. And just the larger picture of health and wellness. And you're just looking you want something to happen now, and I get it. Maybe you've had a spiritual awakening, if you will, and you're getting to where you want to start doing something. You're getting to where you want to start doing something about your situation. If you've been overweight for a while, yes, start doing something, making some changes. If you can start exercising, if anything else, start with exercising. And if you've been overweight for a period of time, what's a week? Another week for you to do some research, start learning about nutrition, start looking at the reason, use your reason and logic. If it's too good to be true, it usually is. Have respect for yourself. If people are just trying to endear themselves to you by telling you what you hope for, the magic trick or pill or solution, and it's too good to be true. I'm going to lose 37 pounds in 20 days. I don't have to exercise, and I can keep eating the foods I want. And they say that, and then they minimize or discount things like low-calorie diets. Now, there's something to be said about certain types of diets within a calorie management plan that can be more efficient. There's debates over low fat versus low carb, and so on and so on and so on. But at the end of the day, you got to change your lifestyle as far as become physically active. You don't have to be a hardcore fitness nut, no, but you can exercise 3, maybe 4 times a week, 45 minutes to an hour at a time. It's a very small amount to budget into your week for all the returns you get to your health. Number 2, be committed to get your situation with your weight under control on a nutrition, a diet plan that's going to work. And then once you lose the weight that you need to continue to do the things that are reasonable to stay within that range and maintain it. Doesn't mean you can't do certain things on certain days once you have things under control, but you need to get there first. And yeah, it takes discipline, commitment, and work. And it's not all as easy as it's made out to be with all these big promises. So those are my 2 thoughts. I'm making this video not to be a smartass, not to hate on people trying to sell concepts or whether it's supplements, whatever it is. I'm doing it out of respect for people who want to change their life and lose weight. And I dare say I even do it out of love, because sometimes you say things that need to be said, and people may be watching this video and might be pissed, because, oh man, you mean I still have to exercise? Well, no, you don't have to do anything, but it's to your benefit to exercise if you truly want to have the best outcome with managing diabetes, type 2, if you want to reach your goals, have a better quality of life, and just improve yourself. So if you agree with me or disagree, drop a comment below. That's okay. Like the video if it got you to think. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate that. I appreciate the support. I'm going to continue to make videos on topics of physical fitness, mental health, wellness, and just topics I may want to discuss, like the ones today. So it's Sunday, is it January 19th? So we're already almost getting close, a little closer to wrapping up the first month of the 20s, right? Of the 2020s. Till I make another video, y'all take care and have a good day. Thank you.